Hey guys, Kevin Ellis here with the Apex Racing Academy with this track tutorial for Sonoma and the Porsche Cup car. So just want to say first off, this is probably probably one of the most enjoyable data packs I've ever done actually. I didn't expect to enjoy Sonoma as much as I did this week. But yeah, I had a lot of fun doing this data pack, so hopefully this will help you guys enjoy it as much as I've enjoyed it. So just first of all, in towards turn one, obviously we're out to the wall on the right hand side, try and get as close to this as you can. It would just help open up turn one, make life a lot easier for yourself. I think we're going to keep it in fifth gear here as well. Yeah, we're in fifth gear. Nice and tight to the wall on the inside. We're keeping it flat. As tempting as it is to start lifting back here, you need to keep your foot in it. It's an uphill braking zone and it's really, really steep. As soon as you get in the car and you come in towards turn one, you start to appreciate just how steep the track actually gets. So braking distances are really, really short compared to any kind of flat corner later in the track. As you come into here, you want to keep it flat. You can see we're barely gaining any speed here. Like we're in 221, we're still flat and we're barely accelerating. As soon as I start lifting off, we start accelerating. Like I'm at half throttle and we're losing speed. So use the blue cones on the inside as a bit as your reference. As you're coming up towards them, you want to start lifting off, and then it's quite a progressive trail off the throttle. And then as soon as you get to the blue cones, you want to start getting onto the brakes, and you want to come in here really, really tight. And this isn't an off track, believe it or not. You can cut right over this dirt on the inside, and then you basically make this a straight line. Rather than trying to come from like, a way out here and in, you're just losing a lot of time making the distance longer. So you want to brake just at the blue cone, bring it up into the left, down towards third gear for this. And again, still just see how little brake we're actually using the entire braking zone. Like this is as much as we really use. We have like a little bit of a spike here and towards the right just to get the weight over the front. And then just picking up throttle just before we hit the inside curb here, just start accelerating out the corner. Gonna pogo just a few times and then track it out the dirt on the left hand side. In towards here now, you want to cut over the grass on the outside. Still might consider it dipping, but it's not actually the cool tires as an advantage. It is literally just to open up the corner and make it a straight line into this corner. So over the dirt on the outside, and basically as soon as you come off it, a very little dab of brake, catch the camber, and then really nice and aggressive back to throttle here. Again, it's uphill, so you can be really aggressive back to throttle. Don't worry about losing the rear end. Keep it in fourth gear here as well, and then try and keep it to the left of the middle of the track, then open up this right. Really, really difficult. This next right hand at the top of the hill as well. So cockpit, you can see what I'm doing here in fourth gear. Picking up the throttle before we hit the curb on the left hand side, and then open up the right nicely. Now you can use third through here if you like. I personally just kept it in fourth as I felt it allowed me to get back to throttle sooner. And then taking a good bit of curb off the right hand side here. Not a whole lot. You don't want to be all up over the dirt. You want to be able to carry enough speed through here without having to pogo and wait for the car. And then as you come up over the crest, you're going to get loose. Just hang on. The car, it's not going to snap away from you. You should be fine. And then out onto the curb on the outside. Now coming into here, you can see the curb ends. Can't quite brake that late, so you need to brake a little bit earlier. So be aware of that. As you're coming to the end of the curb, start getting onto the brakes. Now into here, as you get to run about here, it's really tempting to start turning into the corner, but there's a massive bump. I'm not sure if it's a texture bug or if there's actually just a massive pothole here. But if you come in really, really tight, like go to chase cam, if you come in like half a car width tighter than this and try and get to that inside curb, it's gonna launch you into the air. And you can see here, I think I even just caught the edge of it. Yeah, you can see it. I think it's right around here. Massive bump. And we're trailing off the whole way, and as soon as we get back to throttle, jumps up in it there, and you can see me on the cockpit. You can see the steering wheel. I know it's coming because of the angle I've come in. I've hit it, and I'm like, right, I'll open up the steering lock just to prevent it from getting loose as I'm getting back to throttle. And the car is kind of handled it okay there. So we're back to throttle just before we get to the curb on the inside here. And then nice and gentle. It's off camber on the exit, so be patient. We'll want to push the car off into the dirt. And then through here, you want to drive it in deep. And then as you come into the middle of the corner, start to have your lift. So you've done the hard part here. You want to drive it in deep on full throttle. And then you can lift in the middle of the corner rather than coming in nice and slow and then trying to power through it. If you try and get back to full throttle here, the car's going to spin. So you need to keep it full throttle as long as you physically can, so that you're carrying enough speed where the car actually somewhat understeers when you lift, and then that will actually keep the car rotating, as opposed to driving it in nice and patient and then trying to get back to full throttle here, somewhere in the middle of the corner when you should be lifting. If you try and get back to full throttle here, it's spin off, you're going to end up in this wall, or you're going to end up halfway up the embankment on the right hand side. So you drive it in deep and then just lift in the middle of the corner, just manipulating the throttle, just to keep it rotating so that you're exiting on the right hand side. You don't want to be away out here, you want to be nice on the right hand side, back across, and you see just where this dirt changes colour. This is probably the scariest part of the track. Right when this dirt changes colour, that's when you want to start braking, and it's a very, very light brake here. You can see we're not even getting to 50%, and getting loose up over the top. This is how you know you've carried enough speed in, is when you start getting loose up over the top. In the actual races here, expect to see a lot of guys come up over this crest thinking they're the Superman and go flying off into the grass here, especially on the first lap as well on cool tyres. Really, really difficult. So you come up past this change of dirt colour, just keep it in fourth. You can downshift it to third if you need to. And you want to start diamond this, so you can see we get in tight to the inside here, just to try and get the car rotated, and then drift out in the middle of the corner, still keeping some brake on, and then getting back to throttle, try and get the diff gauge, just to try and start turning the car. Now, of course, it is downhill, so you're going to start accelerating a lot quicker than you think you are, and it's really easy to start to drift out on the exit. It does actually tighten up right on the exit here on the drag strip. So yeah, through here, again, it's a really light brake just to keep weight over the front end, just to keep the car decelerating just enough, keeping it in fourth. Then back to throttle. Once you pass the start of that curb, once you pass here, you can really start to feed the power in. Like, you're already around about 50% here, but once we get to the start of that curb, you can see we're really starting to feed the power in towards 100%. Then we get to 100%, and we're still managing to tight. That's how you know you've done it good. Tight to the left-hand side. And as you come off, it's going to start getting really light. You can see just a little bit of a correction, a little bit of a lift, just to make sure that we don't go spearing off and up the hill. And you can see on the chase cam, and just let go. We're correcting the whole way on exit out towards the curb on the outside. Just got away with that one. But in towards this double right-hander now. This Nationwide is on your side sign. This is going to be your Nationwide, certainly on your side here, because this is your brake marker. Basically, as you come to the blue sign, nice and slow to threshold, down into second gear. Now here I actually could have carried more speed into the corner. You can see around about here I've actually done the hard part and got it slowed, and I'm coming in towards the curb quicker than I wanted. The car's turning better than I expected, so I probably theoretically could have carried more speed into this. I braked a little bit deeper, but see how little brake I've got on, and just giving it another another little sort of boost. See where the brake is here. Another little boost just to get weight over that was just weight over the front tires, just to get a little bit of rotation. And then you can see how aggressive I am back to throttle here, up to 50%, still in second gear. Short shift to third, run about here, and then we're just sort of managing the throttle on the exit. Now, as tempting as it is to drive it in slow to the first right and then drive it off, with how the diff is and how the grip is, it's just not possible. So you do need to drive it in deep to the right, track out to this yellow line on the outside, or as close to it as you can, and then drive it off as patiently as you can, because you can see we get back to full throttle and it looks planted, and then all of a sudden we're having to correct. So if you drive it in really slow and try and line it up, you can only carry so much speed off this corner, so there comes a point where you do actually drive it in deeper. So don't be afraid to send it deep in here and keep running deep. Try and get used to the entry speed. You can see here we get back to full throttle. I'm like, right, okay, we're good, and then it catches a bump and it's way out over the dirt on the outside. We carried a lot of speed off of there, so we got a little bit lucky with that. And then into here towards turn 8, you want to send it up over the curb on the right hand side here. This will help open up the next left, so it's aggressive up over the right with a little lift, and then really aggressive up over the second one. You can see how bumpy it is out here. First one, and then we're progressively coming off the throttle here as well. You can see we're lift a little bit, hit the first curb, hit the second curb, and then brake. And then that helps open up this left, then helps open up the right. So left-hand wheels up over the flat bit on the inside, up on the dirt, keeping it in fourth gear through here, and then into the right, just a little dab of brake, but we're still on throttle the entire time. The corner's cambered as well, so that really helps. Up over the inside curb, just to help try and rotate it just a little bit. And then up over the crest, it starts to get light, and you can see we're just correcting the whole way out. Just a nice, uh, a nice corrective slide the whole way out to the curb on the left hand side here. This is my favorite corner on the track. This never gets old. A nice power slide up over the top of the hill. Still in fourth gear, up into fifth, and just tracking it right out to the grass on the left hand side, and then keep it tight here. Clip the yellow, drift out a little bit, and then bring it back to the yellow on the left hand side here. And then as you come up over the curb on the left here, you want to be all up over this. No real obvious brake markers for this one, but basically as the curb starts tightens to go to the left, you want to brake before that. And I'm keeping it in fifth gear here. See? And it's actually fourth gear that I downshift to here. So I'm holding fifth for a long time, and then basically right as soon as I want to get back to throttle, see the little throttle blip there. So down into fourth, curb on the inside, and start applying the throttle. It just helped me carry speed into the corner, was being in fifth, and then downshifting to fourth right on the apex if I wanted to get back to power, and you can see just a little bit of correction, how tight we are to the dust on the outside as well. And then in towards the final hairpin. This is a tough one because there's no real obvious brake marker. You see we're sort of braking in no man's land here, but you're looking towards these cones, and essentially from inside the car you want to be at threshold by the time you get to them. You can see we start braking just after the yellow line on the left, and then we get to threshold, and then the cone right there. And now you got a couple ways of taking this. You can do what I've done here and diamond it. You can take it quite wide, so your right hand wheels are sort of skimming the blue and yellow on the inside, and then try and drive it off. But again, similar to the double right earlier in the lap, the car doesn't quite have enough grip for me to justify doing that consistently. So I like to just diamond it so that the car's really low in the RPM range to get back to power, and it's less likely to spin up on exit. By the time that the RPMs get high enough to spin the car up, you're already on the straight. So I like to bring it nice and tight. Watch on clip this. I've done this a few times trying to get this lap. Bring it in nice and tight to the inside, and then it's sort of like a mini diamond. You can see we're aggressive to the inside at the start, then it drifts out just to where the right hand wheels are just on the yellow line, and then we're back to throttle already before we get to the second last power bundle in second gear, and then start to really unwind the lock as we bring it in tighter, and then you can see we're back to full throttle. Only a little bit of oversteer on the exit there, not a whole lot, because we were so slow in the middle of the corner because we took it so tight that the car didn't have a chance to spin up. So nice and early into the corner, a mini diamond where your right hand wheels are just on at the yellow line, and then aggressive back to power to get it rotated. And then with that, you're flat out to the line. Do this left pressures. And with that, guys, that's a lap of Sonoma. So hopefully you guys have found this informative. As always, any kind of question in the Apex Racing Academy Discord, I'll be able to get back to you then. But with that, guys, hopefully see you in the group coaching session this week, and best of luck.